Jackie, you ready for some excitement? We're gonna make a video to tell people about this really cool book. Are you ready? Here we go. Woo! All right.
Hi, everybody.
We've got this really cool book, Embracing Autism, and we're gonna show you a little information about the book. Yeah, we're gonna show some information. This is designed to give you an idea of who we are, how interesting we are. Sit back down just for a second more.
Sit back.
Quick! And we're going to introduce you to some of the contributors to this fabulous work, including Jack Parrish. Look, smile, big smile at the camera.
Cheese.
Cheese, thank you. We hope you enjoy watching. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
All right, you gonna turn the light off? Go ahead, turn the light off. That was awesome, Jack! You did it!
You see high-functioning autism and Asperger's syndrome. What's the difference between the two? I always get puzzled looks. I contribute by providing a window onto this side of the autism spectrum, helping people understand what autism is and how to interact with and teach children with autism. And I also like to give hope to parents who have often just been blindsided by a diagnosis of autism and help them realize that autism is really more of a difference to be worked with, as opposed to this monolithic enemy that needs to be slain and destroyed.
The world's a better place when people can learn about these things, and people need labels. They tend to need a name for these things, and so a label can be very useful that way. But you know, my son's a person, and he has things to contribute, and people need to be understanding of him, and he needs to be understanding of them.
Many children with autism, for example, literally do not know what they are seeing. They cannot spot an object that's 20, 30 feet away from their bodies. The object does not have meaning. For many of the children, the objects only have meaning when they're directly, physically involved with it. So a cup has meaning as they hold the cup or as they drink from it. But if you put the cup upside down, it might lose all its significance. Many of these kids have the need, for example, when they go into new space, to define that space for themselves by running back and forth, and in that way establishing for themselves the reality of the space that they're in. Only gradually, as they start to develop, does space become defined for them in a way that allows them to leave a familiar place and come back to it again.
All teachers should be special ed teachers, because we all should have the knowledge of teaching to the style of the child in all situations. It doesn't matter whether you're in a quote-unquote regular ed environment or special ed. The joy is in just seeing a child reach their highest potential, and a family, changes in families where there's less stress. They feel comfortable sending their child to school. There's less worries that they have to have, and just to know that you're part of that process and that you do really make a difference is huge, and I can't really think of anything else to do.
We're here to talk about the not so desperate, terrible, depressing side of autism spectrum difficulties. How does that sound? Do you feel like you're having any difficulties right now? Wow! See? He's got no difficulties. There's no difficulties, right? Do you have a spectrum thing going on? Autism spectrum. You heard of that before? What are you messing with my shift knob for? Hey Jack, here's a question for you. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? What's my name? Dad. Exactly. When my son Jack was diagnosed with autism in 1996, it was a devastating blow for our family. One of the reasons it was so difficult revolved around the fact that there was absolutely no information out there
that looked at autism in a realistic way. Everything pretty much was tied up into the whole Rain Man. You've either got a savant or you've got someone who is going to be banging their head against the wall for the rest of their life and making no real meaningful contribution to society. In fact, the doctor who diagnosed Jack said, hey, you might as well just go ahead and start looking for an institution, which was quite unacceptable. So inspired by my son, I made a film that aired on public broadcasting called Come Back Jack. And again, 12 years later, inspired by my son, I have the honor and privilege to be the editor of this work, embracing autism, connecting and communicating with children in the autism spectrum. We've assembled a group of more than a dozen writers, all of whom I've met through my son, all of whom have a strong connection to autism spectrum difficulties, as I like to call them. And I'm really excited, and I really think this book is going to have meaning not only to parents, but to educators who are out there on the front lines every day with these kids, trying to help them reach their potential.